Welcome to Living in Westchester. I'm Iliana Fleischman, and I'm super excited today because I'm going to be covering the installation and the process for getting solar panels on our home. So we actually just had our solar panels installed 2 days ago. The process was really quick, and I'll talk about it shortly. We're just so excited to see how this will impact our energy bills. I'm sure, as most of you have experienced as well, but over the last 2 years, we've seen our delivery fees go up, the cost of electricity go up, and our bills have just, honestly, in our house, they have more than doubled over the last 2 years. And that has been pretty, almost pretty traumatic, I would say. I mean, I'm someone who's very energy conscious and tries to do the best as far as like not being wasteful, keeping lights off, and not over consuming. I had all of our light bulbs replaced to LED years ago. I spent money on insulating the house to help save energy, and to see how much our bills went up was just really stressful for me. And especially because I'm someone who's so on top of it and is so aware of how we use energy in the home. So anyways, I'm really looking forward to see what having the panels does for our energy costs, and kind of what we can do to help offset that. So I wanted to discuss a little bit about what the steps were that we took in order to get to the point where we finally have the solar panels on our home. So for us, we had been looking into solar panels for years. We actually reached out to a solar panel company, I want to say about 6 years ago. And at that point, we were rejected. We're not sure what has changed exactly that from then until now, but at that point we were just told that there was too much shade on the roof and we weren't a good candidate. Then over the last few years, we heard how things had changed, so I think we reached out to another company maybe 4 years ago. Again, we were told we were not a good candidate, too much shade on our roof, and it wouldn't work. So finally, I want to say a year ago, I kind of had an idea about what trees could be creating extra shade in our on our roof, and we kind of took it upon ourselves to say, hey, obviously a year ago energy bills had already started going up, so we took it upon ourselves to say, okay, it is going to be worth to cut down some of these branches, and not necessarily the whole trees, because obviously I didn't want to cut down trees. It's very expensive, and two, we have some very mature trees that are growing on our neighbor's lot, which cause shade on our roof. But they're also like very mature and habitat for animals, so I didn't want to just start chopping down trees all willy-nilly here. So we took it upon ourselves to just trim as many of the branches as we could that we felt were impacting shade and our possibility of having solar panels on our roof. And that probably cost us, I don't have the exact number, but let's say around $1,500. Again, we didn't cut down whole trees, we just trimmed branches. And just kind of with the solar panels in the back of my mind, we went ahead and did that. That was last summer, so actually less than a year ago. So just kind of gearing up for trying again. So finally, when we called again this time, we were told, hey, you know what, things have changed and it looks like maybe you guys are good candidates at this point. So obviously we were shocked to hear that, but also very excited at the prospect of finally being able to get it done. And so it all started with a consultation. We had a sales rep come in, and there was a phone consultation where we had to give them our address. They pulled maps and things like that, and then next step was the in-home consultation, where prior to this meeting, We had bills ready and available so that the sales rep could look at our usage for the average usage for the year, and based on that information, when he came in, we discussed the amount of energy that we need basically per year, and then they had some estimates of the amount of electricity they felt we could produce based on our roof size, the number of panels they could put on, and the amount of sunlight that we would get based on our geographic location, and then obviously based on the coverage and shade that our specific roof gets. So they came with the estimates. For us, we had some options. We could do half of our roof, which is the southern facing side, and that would not cover us for the full extent of the amount of kilowatts that we would need. So they also proposed adding additional panels on the northern facing side of our roof to kind of help make up the differential, and we had the option of just going with partial coverage or going down into the northern side and where we wouldn't get as much sunlight, but we could still absorb enough that it would make up for what the southern facing side couldn't produce. So we looked at the multiple options. They had mock-ups of how the panels would look on the roof. Obviously, I think they tried to cluster as many as they could on the southern facing side because that's where we would produce the most. And then the remaining would be on the northern facing side. So they had a couple of options of how they would lay them out. We chose the one, that we felt was the best aesthetically for us. And then we also talked about, we talked about the estimated production that they felt we could do, our needs based on the average use that we had over the last year. We reviewed the mock-ups, and then we also discussed payment options at that point. So you have the option to lease the solar panels. You can pay for them all in cash, or you have the third option would be to amortize and get a loan for the panels. And for us, we did look at all three options. The solar panels are something that we felt we would definitely want long-term, especially since supply costs for electricity and delivery costs have been on the rise, and they're projected to still continue to rise. So we just felt like, okay, we want these long-term. So we did not want to lease them. Secondly, for us, it felt like based on the interest rates, which are still very low, we locked in at a lower interest rate. But I just spoke to our rep yesterday, and he said current rate as of the day I'm filming this video is about 4.25%. So for us, that made sense to get a loan. And then we also discussed some of the government rebates and programs that are available to New Yorkers who are getting solar panels now. So these were all the things we talked about based on the fact that we knew right away that we were going to go for a loan. I think I did a credit check at that point, and then then we kind of left it there. The company was gonna do some additional research on their end to make sure what they had mocked up and what they had as far as the estimates made sense. And they also had to bring someone in to actually go and evaluate the condition of our roof. So the next step was for a tech to come in. They had a drone. They were evaluating, again, just the shade and sun, making sure those estimates were accurate. And then someone actually got on the roof, walked the roof to make sure it was in good condition and it could handle the weight of the panels, and it had enough life left on the roof to have it make sense to install these panels that are going to be there for quite a long time. That went well, so that we got a check mark on that one. We were able to proceed to the next step. And I think for us, the next step was to get a second opinion. So we did want to make sure we shopped around. Thankfully, both companies were very close to each other. So that helped make the decision, feel more, make us feel more certain about our decision to keep moving forward with the process. And we went with who we went with for our specific reasons, as far as just who we felt more comfortable with and who we felt we would have a better customer service experience, etc. So then on to step 3, our solar panel company pulled, these 2 steps kind of happen in tandem. So step 1 being the consultation, step 2 having the tech come in and look at our roof specifically. Step 3 was pulling our permits, which was great. So for us, it felt really fast, especially because we're doing this during the winter, so we know, we weren't in a big rush to get these panels up in the winter in case it was going to snow or whatever. We expected delays, but in New Rochelle, it took us about 4 weeks to have the permit approved, or permit opened rather, and at the same time we handled all the loan documents, so put in our loan application and had that done as well. Once the permit was reviewed and it was opened, we got a call from a coordinator to help set up our installation, and that, from the day of the call, I think it was, I got the call on a Monday, we scheduled it for the Thursday, so it all happened really, really fast. And once the guys, once the team was here for installation day, someone came in, I want to say around 7:30 in the morning, dropped off all the panels, all the materials. That person left and said, hey, your team will be here at 8:30. The team did arrive at 8:30, and they had prep work to do, which is a little bit invasive. They had to drill into our home to connect the solar panel system, their access panel, drill in to connect it to our electrical panel. So that was the one invasive part where they did drill into the home, but thankfully it was just one hole, and it was all, the line was pretty seamless. It was all neatly done, and it connected straight into our electrical panel. But you do have someone in and out of the home throughout the process, just into the area where your electrical panel is while the installation is going on. But from the time the team started until they finished, I think they started at 8:30 and finished by 2 o'clock. So that also went really, really fast. And we, from what I'm told, were one of the bigger jobs, because we had just over 40 panels put on our roof. So we had 41 panels, and I was told on average it's like 15 to 20 panels, so we were double the average. And it was super, super fast. So overall, I would say the process itself took about 2 to 3 months, and I would say if it took 3 months, we were the ones who delayed it, because we did go for a second opinion and we kind of took our time with that. But it was overall, like, the time from consultation, when we remove our break where we were talking to other people, I would say it really was about 2 months, and it was pretty quick, pretty seamless, and everyone we dealt with was super professional and helpful. So we're thrilled, and we're super excited for the next step. I guess we're up to probably step 6, is we'll have the building inspector for New Rochelle come in, review the work. Once they review it and give the okay, that permit will get closed out, and also in tandem, we will get the approval from Con Ed to have the system turned on. The system can get turned on remotely. Then it'll take about a day or 2 of sunlight to charge up our panels. And once that's going, the exciting thing will be that the energy from the panels will get fed into the grid, and our electric meter will run backwards. So we're starting to feed constant electricity, and then our meter will run backwards, and hopefully our electric bill will get lowered. So we're really, really looking forward to that, and I'd love to talk about that once we're at that stage. But so far, overall, we've been really happy. It's been super easy and seamless, and we're just so excited we can finally do it. And I think for us overall, like, we really, really looked at our numbers and what the cost of electricity has been, the increases, and what it would cost us over time to pay for these panels versus what it would cost us over time if the cost stayed the same, and it was still a huge savings to go with the panels versus continuing to pay for electricity that we know is going to keep going up. So we're definitely, just feeling good about our decision, and we feel like we made the right choice. So I look forward to just seeing how it all plays out and sharing more information with you. So if you have any questions, please feel free. If you have any advice, please feel free to share. I'm super excited, and I'll keep you guys up to date on how it all works out. Again, I'm Iliana Fleischman. If you ever need me, you know where to find me. All information's down below. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next video and continuing to bring you home.